Hey everyone. Ooh, Missy Hair. Welcome, welcome. I didn't even tell people I was live. This is not, oh man, I'm slacking at the job, the only job that I have right now, which is telling people that I'm live. Hold up, y'all. Okay, excuse my slacking while I'm doing that. Can you guys make sure you're hitting that like button, please? And thank you. We are live now. Hold up. Now I'm repeating myself here. Shout out to everybody that's coming through. Thank you for being here. We are live. I'm not even looking at the chat yet. All right. So, hold up. This is interesting. Um, I just want to know. Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you for hitting the like. Let me see who's in the house. Let me Vic, you think you can at everyone and let everybody know that we're live? Sorry, I forgot to add everybody. I typically do it before I go live. Thank you. Heidi, thank you for becoming a member. I see you, love. Who else? We got new members. That Mama, thank you for being a member for 1 month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let me see. Don't look back. Just a T, please. Pika, welcome. Michelle B, welcome. Let's see who else. Shauna B, SW, thank you for being here. Reina, thank you for being here. Who else do I have in the house? Bo, welcome. Thank you for being here. Ginger, thank you for being here. Love, Christy, welcome. Oh man, everybody's in the house for the most part. Nola, how you doing, love? Welcome. Leanne, hey buddy, just thought I'd pop in and say hi. No worries, Nola. Thank you for being here. Who else is in the house? I want to greet everybody. Shout out to all the members. Let's see who else is here. Girl, something's itching. Fabulous Fab. Kitty Coo's in the house as well. Thank you for being here, guys. Y'all are awesome. Okay, just getting my device going. Ooh, we got 120 people in the house. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Thank you for being here. Everybody, everybody, everybody. Okay, welcome. Dang, Chico has been a member for freaking 10 months. Don't be a hater, hit the like button. Chico, thank you for being a member and a mod and for everything that you do. Your support is awesome. Thank you. Okie, thank you for being here. All right. Nola, Cash, welcome everybody. I see everybody. Snoop, how you doing, love? Thank you for being here. NB has been a member for 10 months as well. Nicole MB and a moderator. Thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Everybody, thank you. Man, Vic, thank you for being here. Deborah, thank you for being here. I see you. Man, oh man. All right. I'm trying to get through the comments. Hey, Nonsense. Shout out to Nonsense in the house. Eddie, welcome. Is it Back in Mama? Thank you for being here. Back in Mama. Beat him. I seen the BJ video on Soft White. Very interesting about the background of the channel. Right. So let me just say something. Emily, thank you for being here. Man, is everybody in the house today? Damn. Shout out to y'all. Don't neglect your children now for being here. Thank you. Rose with Thorn, thank you for being a member for 5 months. Don't neglect your duties. Okay. Crafty Kid, thank you for being here. Thank y'all. All right. Market something else. Look, let me just say something. Okay. Because I got some very interesting comments. Very, very interesting. Are the wings winging? Vic, let me know. Is the wing winging? You tell me that. All right. Let me know. Look, I got to say something. Okay. Let me just address somebody here. Kimmy, thank you for becoming a member. Thank, girl, I got ADHD. Oh, it is my superpower. It says from Carmen San Diego. I think that's how you say her name. Shout out to her. No hate. I'm just saying. Okay. No hate. I promise you. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. Thank you. Thank you. Back in Mama. Thank you. How you doing, love? Thank you for being here. All right. This is what this comment said. It was left on to me on one of the videos that I did earlier this morning. It said, I hope your monetization is turned off because you're going to drag a creator for what you claim is exploitation. And then, in my opinion, you should not be accepting super chats, stickers, or ad revenue for this live stream. If you do, you are a hypocrite. This man absolutely does not exploit anyone. He pays them for their time and story. He just doesn't focus on Skid Row. He does highlight people all walks through life and their story. The dramatic reading, y'all like that? Um do you think she broke her nails typing this? Just a question. Because honestly, y'all can leave me a comment and I could see it, right? You don't need to all caps. It was Carmen San Diego. The audacity. Listen, it's all good. I'm just like, girl, look, she's entitled to her opinion, okay? But let me just say this. Um, if you guys see an ad on this video, I absolutely am monetizing this video. Absolutely. And what you gonna do about it? That's what I'm gonna do. I can monetize. A matter of fact, I'm a true crime creator. All of my videos are monetized for the most part. All of them. All of them. And what you gonna do about it? I research, I look up articles, I do different things, I collaborate, I talk to people, I talk to a lot of other creators, I talk to subscribers. I do a lot, believe it or not. I sit in this chair and it might be maybe a 10-minute video, a 20-second little short, but that takes editing, takes time. It takes time to actually, talk to people, review things, research, put things together. That takes time. And even though y'all may not feel that shouldn't monetize this or shouldn't, then you don't need to watch it because guess what? If you don't watch it, I don't get paid, right? Carmen San Diego and all of these soft white underbelly fan stands, you don't need to watch this video, right? Just like Mark, I don't need to watch. Matter of fact, I don't watch a lot of his videos because I think he's trash. And I'll further elaborate why I think he's trash. And it is interesting because it's not like I don't need to sit here. Matter of fact, I'm not here to convince people to support that man, not to support him. Y'all do whatever you want. We're adults at the end of the day. Okay. But what is so disturbing to me is that I'm over here at the very end corners of YouTube with 37,000 subscribers. That man is in the millions. A little criticism from somebody like me is not going to hurt him. Matter of fact, a little criticism from anybody here is not going to hurt him. I promise you that. It's not going to hurt him. So you better believe I am monetizing this video. So don't watch it. Don't watch it, girl, because it's not for you. Leanne, thank you for the $5. And Veronica, thank you for the 99 cents. Y'all are awesome. Just so you guys are aware, the haters are hating. I want to talk about some other comments that I got, okay? Because this is the interesting part. See, this is what gets to me, right? You don't want to censor people, but yet you're worried about the comments and commentary that people give to others, right? So which one is it? Do you want us to be censored or not? Which one is it? Somebody left me a comment and I'm not going to show it, but I'm reading it on the side. It says, "Hope you're not going to tear down Soft White Underbelly. This guy works and helps the lesser privileged. He's been doing it for years. I'd tread lightly if I were you." I said, I don't have the power to tear anybody down. Chico, thank you for gifting memberships. Shout out to you. I don't have the power to tear anybody down, yo. I really don't. And I have to tread lightly? Why? I've been told to tread lightly a good portion of my life. I've been told to watch what I say a good portion of my life. Why? You guys think that Mark Laita gives a shit about somebody like me or anybody else? Even the people that have reached out to him trying to understand where he's coming from, unless you're kissing his ass, he's not going to have, like, there is no feedback or anything like that. He doesn't give a shit. So why do I need to tread lightly? What about the other creators? What about him? I never in my life. I was like, what? I have to tread lightly for who? For you or for him? And my comments aren't moving. So I might have to refresh this here in a minute. Hold up, y'all. Oh, none of my comments are showing up, you guys. Hold up. Yeah, none of my comments are showing up. So maybe they'll start appearing here in a little bit. Okay. Let me know if you guys can see me. Can you guys let me know in the chat if you can hear me? Where in the world is Carmen San Diego? Let me know. Just drop a rabbit in the chat so I know you guys can see me. I could see your comments on my phone, but not on the StreamYard. I don't know what's acting up. All right. We're just going to go that way. So I'm going to have a hard time reading the chat because I'm looking down. But I wanted to bring that up to your guys' attention and let you guys know why do I have to tread lightly, yo. I must. That is a must. I must tread lightly. Look, let me tell you what really inspired me to this. Well, besides the comments, because after I had a bunch of people kind of coming at me, disagreeing with what I was about to say. Well, I haven't even said anything yet. I haven't even started yet. And you're already disagreeing. It really kind of like, it made me feel some type of way. And I said, yeah, I'm going to talk about this. This is definitely a topic I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Right, right, Laura. Thank you for saying that. All right. There was an article that was written, and it's not a recent article, but it was an article that really caught my attention because I think it put everything that I was thinking about Mark Laita in a nice little box and bow, right? I just couldn't figure out how to say it. I was like, I don't know. Like, there's so many things that bother me about what's going on. And yet, I'm not shitting on the man's artistry because he's an artist. His photography, his art form of trying to bring awareness, look at me use the air quotes, awareness, the truth to what is going on in America, in Skid Row and everywhere else, because he's all over, he's all over the place, according to his supporters. But this article kind of really, I don't know, I guess it really put things into perspective for me. That's how you could say it. Let me read it, and I'm going to react to it. It's a lot of paragraphs and whatnot, but it really spoke to me. The person titles this article, and his name is Lando Chill, by the way, and he has an IG account. He's like all over on social media. But he writes, Mark Laita, we are not your soft white underbelly. Mark Laita, this exploitation or stark reality through the guise of a societal need for truth, true awareness. The gray area we humans tend to reside in can be different shades depending on where one stands. Tinted lens chisel from privilege sit upon gold frames, attempting to acknowledge the divide between class and race by creating a one type of one way mirror built from exploitation and potential redemption. Let me ask you guys a question that have been watching the channel for many, many years. Some of you guys have been watching it longer than I have, or have known about it. Why do you think why do you think people interview with Mark Laita? Why do people interview with Mark Laita? What's the reason? Does anybody know? I'd like to understand. And I can't even put your comments up, so please forgive me. There's no comments showing up here on my end. But why do people interview with him? Because he gives them money, says Vic. Interesting. They want money because they need that drug money. Never heard of him, says Red Brace. Money. Money. He pays them. Okay. Because he's paying them off so he can exploit them. Okay. The interview because they're desperate for money, I'd assume, says Eddie. Okay. I also understand those who have an issue with him showing people in their darkest moments, but it's complicated. Absolutely, Messi. I agree. It's complicated. I'm not doing a poll, but I would like to know just a consensus of where everybody lands. Okay. I knew he was sketch, all right? Look at Amanda's videos. Interesting. So the majority of you guys are saying it's because of money, right? And Robin, thank you for upgrading your membership, love. Thank you. In my opinion, a lot of them want money. Money. All right. Money seems to be the umbrella answer for the most part, right? The winning answer. And then the article continues. The lack of historical respect or consideration of the forces behind circumstances and the brevity of immersions within the subject's worlds said privilege can consent to its users keeps the line between exploitation and representation as brittle as the American psyche. These days, the purveyor of such an area usually trends between journalism, artists, and activism, supposedly stripped of implicit bias while entering the domain of their subjects to display the unvarnished truth. The truth is then up to the storyteller to present, not only in a way in which lends the most credence to the subject, but paints the entire picture for the audience to interpret for themselves. And this I thought was interesting that he said this. The truth is then up to the storyteller to present, not only in a way in which lends the most credence to the subject, but paints the entire picture for the audience to interpret for themselves. Look, I could think of various stories, coverages that he's done, right? Where there's a certain aspect that he's trying to like the questioning that he does, especially to victims of sex assault or sex abuse, the questioning is very leading. So I was sitting there and I was watching, and then I was also reading some other research behind this, basically saying, you know, the questions that he does to a lot of these people that are paid to do these interviews, whatever that amount is, they're always very leading questions, right? Like it's always very suggestive, very leading, very perverse. Is that a word? No. Yeah. Kind of very perverted type. I would say very perverted type of questions, right? That you would think that if somebody is a victim of a crime and mind you, they're homeless and they're getting money for this interview. You know, you're asking them like maybe questions about their abuse, how their abuse happened, who happened. I mean, you got interviews with, as he put it, an inbred family, right? Inbred family, prostitutes, drug addicted prostitutes, right? And his questionings have always been very leading. Now, could that be an issue of the fact that maybe he just doesn't know how to question people? Could be. Could be, right? Or is that just like his wanting to bring awareness to this? Like, what is it exactly that like why are we asking these types of questions? Like, why? And I can't really like think of anything else. I just changed my background because I'm thinking maybe this might be the issue with the comments. Hopefully that'll fix it. Sex workers, right? He's always asking, yeah, derogatory titles is clickbait, right? But typically he doesn't care. I'm looking at the comments. Kitty Koo says he doesn't care. But there is a level of questioning, like, there's a difference between somebody that's questioning to understand the story, and they're willing to just question, like, "How did this happen? When did this happen?" Okay. But his questions are very leading almost to put their trauma on Front Street, right? But if he's helping them, it's okay, right? He's paying them. What did Carmen San Diego say right here? He's paying them. God forbid I monetize my video, but what the hell he said right here, if you are a hypocrite. This man absolutely does not exploit anyone. He pays for them and their time and their story, right? But he does. He does pay them. I guess it's not exploitation, right? If you're being paid and the questions are leading and you're just offering your story. It's okay. Remember what he said. I didn't say. He said he's not a helping channel, but he's paying them. Although at the very end of his videos, he says, if you want to help the channel, help, keyword, if you want to pay, use the GoFundMe, keyword, help. I think maybe he needs to start using a different word. Just saying. But remember, he's the story. It is up to the storyteller to present, not only in a way in which lends the most credence to the subject, but paints the entire picture for the audience to interpret for themselves. As an artist myself, the job of interpretation is precious, akin to the first taste of a new dish you've never tried because you knew not of its existence. Yet a lens hones, hones in by the hands of time and shoes that has always fit tends to miss the mark. Unbeknownst or not by the storyteller, I've never been as conflicted and confused after watching Mark Laita's interview series called The Soft White Underbelly. Some nights I have a hard time sleeping when I don't take melatonin. So I surf the viral videos landscape, my need to be entertained to the point of boredom until slumber. I almost didn't click on the video titled Very Sad, Crack Addicted Prostitute Living on the Streets of LA Looks Completely Different a year after a year. I usually wouldn't, especially since the thumbnail featured 2-year-old style photos of a black woman named Amanda in various stages of her addiction. I, for one, am full up on the depiction of black pain, especially the societal cause agony of black women. Let this let this now be the grand reveal of my own implicit bias. I haven't the inclination to ever shed after years of desensitization of me and my own people suffering. But something made me click further. Maybe it was the simple logo thumbnail in the top left corner adjacent to the YouTube embedded title Addicted Prostitute Amanda. Spring 2020. Most likely, it was my initial reaction of disbelief, sifting in light speed through the question of who thought this was a good idea, whether or not I should watch the video. I pressed play and began the latest chapter of Amanda, framed within the lens of Mark Laita's eyes. Hmm. Most of Mark Laita's Underbelly work starts with an intro, monologues from the subject's life, or samples from pop culture set as a backdrop to either um, either or a still or video. Amanda's interview starts with the shaky cam footage of her in the middle of a crack, high, perched on seating when we can't see in front of a backdrop that looks something like you'd see out of a high school yearbook. Ain't that the fucking truth? Look, let me cuss for a minute. Uh-oh, did I freeze? Hold up, y'all. Girl, did I freeze? Everybody see me? He's straight up not okay. I still see you. Still see me? Can you all see me? It. I'm wondering if shit's being reported. I'm not even joking. You see me? Everybody see me? Hold up, y'all. I think it's being reported. I'm not frozen. Well, where did we leave off at? Right. So this writer starts talking about Amanda Rapp, right? He starts saying how he was like intrigued by this whole story. You know, he's given his commentary to the fact that he's so used to about seeing black women being depicted a certain way and how some of this really kind of like how do you go from here? And then not only that, the backdrop of a lot of his videos, why does it look like something out of a high school, I don't know, picture? I was thinking about that too. Like, why does it look, y'all ever notice the backdrop almost looks like a senior photo, you know, something that you're about to, man, let me see, maybe we could even pull up Mark's video real quick. Okay, I see the comments now. Something must, I'm telling you, are we being reported? Are we being reported? Possibly. Soft white underbelly. Y'all ever notice that? Every picture, let me show this. Every picture has the backdrop of like a high school. Look at that. We're number 3. Shout out to us. High school, I don't know, like black and white in the background type of deal, right? Every picture. Hmm. It makes you wonder. You know, I don't know if that's part of the artistry. I don't know if that's part of like how it's done. Women are always portrayed bad. Yeah, the comments froze again. Let me see. Everything. Yeah, the pictures are weird. That video of Rebecca is disturbing. I would have to agree with you. See, the comments froze again. Oh my God. Why are we attacking Soft White Underbelly? Girl, bye. It's your fault. I talk too much. No, it's I see the comments on the side. Can you guys see me though? I'm being reported. That's what it is. He does a great job allowing people to tell the stories, and he's a photographer. Um, Nobody's attacking Soft White Underbelly. We're giving commentary. Hold up. It does. It looked like a live touch picture. You can see me and you hear me. I have a feeling this is gonna freeze up again. Yes, thank you. And Cynthia, see, I can't even, I see your super chat on my thing. I'm gonna try to come back again because I think we're being reported. Give me one sec, okay, y'all? Somebody doesn't want us to talk. I don't want to leave the studio. Let me do this one more time. Okay, I see a little bit. And thank you for the $10, Cynthia. I commented and listed the 5 different GoFundMes he has, and Mark responded. So sad people support him. says Cynthia. Cynthia, thank you for the $10, love. No worries. I know it makes everybody mad. Okay. But I do want to respond to um is it laugh at life? Can you tell me why do you feel like did you miss the first part of this live or are you just coming in? I'd like to know. And it's not, I'm trying to understand like when did you come in into this live because we were talking about the fact that people feel like we can't talk about Mark Laita because he's like the Mother Teresa of YouTube, and people feel some type of way about it. Literally, am I allowed to talk about Mark Laita? That's great. That is awesome. Are you going to be able to listen to my commentary, or are you going to have a hard time? Let me know. Yes. The 30 minutes. I was trying to read. Yes. Thank you. Let me find out. Let me find out. He is a Mother Teresa? Well, damn. Okay, good. Then he's allowed to be criticized. Thank you. All right, let me get back to it. So this is and so I was reading and looking into this critiquing that happened in 2010, right? And it just resonated with me as this live is being, in my opinion, I think it's being reported because I've never had this many issues while on live, not seeing the comments. This is a lot. This is a lot. Just saying. So most of Mark Laita's Underbelly work starts with the intro. We talked about that, the whole High School Musical yearbook, lifetime in the background. Thank you, Money Money, for being here. The format is pretty similar throughout all of Mark's videos. He asks his subject questions in talk show fashion, usually starting simple and then working his way up to an open-ended inquiries that sends the interviewees into introspective and sometimes incoherent dialogues about life and their place. Amanda's video in particular and various others like it were the last of a trilogy of videos he'd done over the past year. Stuck between a crack induced comatose state and self awareness, still fighting to be heard, this is Amanda. She tried to explain her circumstances, her story, but the pieces were lost as the sun is bright during the midday. She, as many of his subjects do, ramble along a line of thought scrambled from years of systematic neglect and oppression. Bad choices be damned if the opportunity to do something more, something better, were at least given to any of the interviewees. At the end of every visual scene, there were links to assist, shelters to donate to, mutual funds, and could directly impact the subjects of Lada's work on display for the audience to support. Yet, there was no true call to action, no plea from anybody but the subject of Lada's work. The person who finally had someone listening to a life story that most people on this earth wouldn't care to learn or nor experience. That's where I arrived at the dilemma, where optimism and people of privilege tend to live as their position in this caste system can afford them that luxury. I agree. While we're spectators viewing Mark Laita's videos, the subjects are living it, right? Ain't that the truth? We're clicking to view the video, right? Ain't that the truth though? The true crime community would know this too, right? We're While we're viewing these videos of people of uh, people addicted to crack, it's the reality, right? It's the real. We're spectators to this. You got this man who is probing questions. First, it's like, tell me about yourself. What is a pretty little girl like you doing out here? Things like that, that makes it kind of like, well, who's the pimp here? Somebody's pimping somebody. Sometimes we see pimps as like there's like a sexual favor. And God knows if any of that is happening because I'm not there in the room. None of y'all are there too. We're not there. But it's a story. I remember back in the day, I remember back in the day when reality TV show first started. Y'all remember that? And it started very interestingly, right? And I could tell you, I had some shows. I was the one watching Cheaters late at night. I was a kid, but reality show was the thing. Put it up on YouTube, right? Go to the scene. I don't need to go to Skid Row to know that we have a homelessness problem. I don't need to do that. But Mark Laita feels like he's exposing the truth through interviewing everybody on Skid Row and monetizing them and then paying them what? $20, $40 for an interview, getting them hits. Oh, but some of you guys might say, well, damn, no, he's offering them rehab. He is? When? Through what? Lima? Who? Thank you for the 199. Peeps in the chat saying StreamYard is having issues. Hit the like. Girl, I'm thinking people are reporting me. Well, damn, now I'm going to talk my shit. Thank you. I'm like, please don't let anybody report me. But it's the truth. You don't think Sea Heals is an interesting point. I don't think it's exploiting if he pays them well. What does well mean, though? I think it would be worse if he gave them nothing. If a video gets 150,000 views and the subject of that video, gets $40, who gets paid well? What are they truly offered after that interview? How is that any different for, from someone who's in like a crack addicted prostitute that might get, $20 from a John? I think it's manipulation. And I don't, it's crazy because it's like I was fighting with myself. This is just me being a little bit vulnerable. All right. And I was like, well, who the hell says that something is exploitative? When does it become exploitative? When is it? And some of that's a question that's a moral question that some of you guys are going to have to ask yourselves. When you're watching something on YouTube and you're especially watching the content creators that are, say, interviewing with the homeless, because it's not just Mark Laita, there's a lot of other channels like that too. When does it become exploitive? If somebody's on crack or addicted to whatever, and they're getting by $40, $20, right? Let's just say they're getting by that way. Do you think that they're in their right mind to even determine that they've been exploited? How do you know? See, who makes these rules? Who determines that? And then who determines that all of that is going to go up on a channel? And it's not exploitation. You tell me. Because I sit here and I watch and I'm like, God damn, you tell me that's not exploitative? But wait a minute. Who determines that? If they got paid, girl, they got paid. They got their $20, $40, 150, whatever it may be. They got paid. They got their fix for the day. It's good. Who said Mark can do this work? Who said Mark should be probing a victim of a crime, say that they were sexually abused by a grandfather or something? Who says that he can do that? What gives him the right to do that? It's trauma porn. I think that's the best way to put it, right? Pain porn, trauma porn. It's trauma pornography, right? When he can lead these questions because he's not a professional interviewer. I mean, I don't I sit there and I was cringing like what the fuck, why is he asking about, you know, how you were sexually abused by your father, and then it happened this one, or grandfather, and then while he was sexually abusing you, he was also sexually abusing your grandmother, and how all of this shit was going down. You tell me. And then, hold up, you get the uncut version on Patreon. White Underbelly uncut. What does that even mean? I'm just wondering. That Ellen, thank you for becoming a member. So yes, for those that are like, why are you trashing Mark, Laita? Because he's just like anybody else that can be reviewed and talked about, right? Why not? I'm sorry if it offends you. No, no, I'm not actually. I'm really not sorry. Sorry, not sorry about your feelings, but it's the truth. That's how I feel. Let's keep reading. And yet there are no true calls to action, no plead from anyone on the subjects. I think I read that part. Um, that's where he arrives at the dilemma. Pinned at the top of the site of the Soft White Underbelly channel is an intro video featuring Mark Laita's explanation of what he's doing and his version of why. He explains that after working for an advertising agency as a photographer, which by the way, I am not shitting on this man's talent. He's a photographer, right? He's very talented. I mean, clearly he's able to capture a lot of people. His interviewing technique, whatever that is, um very not helping, okay? Because he's not a helping channel, keep that in mind. His photography, the fact that he is okay interviewing crack addicted prostitutes who barely have any clothes on, right? But that is how he's unveiling the truth for everybody to see, because some of us can't fucking drive to Skid Row and see it for ourselves, or drive to your local homeless shelter, right? You need a channel to do it, right? I'm just saying. But let me keep reading. Uh, he explains that after working for an advertising agency as a photographer, which by the way, he was one of the highest top paying Apple photographers. Okay. So my little criticism isn't going to do a whole lot to him. All right. Helping wealthy corporations even wealthier, the uncomfortable truth that an ad work would be the legacy left behind when no longer on his earth sunk in. I think a majority of us can relate to his wanting to do something that truly matters in the world, working to better the lives of those less fortunate, because dismantling the system few benefit from is worth the cost working for. In this case, there's something of a Sinclair concrete jungle effect. Storytelling mixed with privilege fed ignorance that could either be masquerading under the guise of awareness through artistry of a oppressed latent experience that would otherwise be ignored. Interestingly enough, the explanation was only recorded and published 2 months ago, almost 3 years after his first upload, and about 9 months from when Leda started to upload the interviews more frequently. His white savior complex, okay, reasoning of creating Soft White Underbelly stemming from maybe deciding to do something differently about what he calls the broken parts of society by crafting interviews of the most marginalized of citizens in their most vulnerable state is understandably yet disgusting. Still, no one has to recognize that there's an infinite side to this perspective, which is why his work creates such conflicts within the confines of what we may think is redeemable or not, juxtaposed between what your newfound awareness does for the people of latest projects or your conscience. And that right there is what got to me right there, because I couldn't really put into words uh, what Laita is doing. And girl, I mean, listen, I went to social work school, right? I just this is the piece right here that I said, yo, like, okay, he quit his whatever job and he has a background. He wrote some books, not very successful. I don't know, something about snakes and whatnot. And I mean, a lot of that is covered on BJ's video. You guys can check it out. But the man is a photographer. He's a great artist. But there's something to be said about the artistry that he's doing now. Is this artistry? One sec, guys. Sorry, I got interrupted. Mhm. Yeah, I heard, because he was I mean, yeah. So is he a victim too? Just wondering. Is he a victim? Is Mark Laita a victim too? He does them all. Mhm. Thank you. Mark isn't doing anything we know from our years of training and experience. Trauma survivors need to deal with specifically, carefully, and respectively and privately. Right. Mhm. Yeah, I heard about that too. But let me ask you after the storm, is he a victim of this as well? Right? Just wondering. Y'all let me know. He's not a victim, he's a perpetrator, predator in my opinion. He's a millionaire, not a victim. Well, okay, millionaires can be victims too, right? Listen, I am trying to like play the devil's advocate here, okay? I'm trying to I'm trying to go both ways, right? I'm trying to make you guys think. I'm asking questions that might piss you off too, which I hope you understand that. Yeah, they extorting him for what? So he's giving it's interesting because he's given enough money. See, that's you would think that there'd be a level of boundaries, but there isn't, right? There's something that he wants from these people. Content. That's what he wants. Content. He drops a YouTube video expected to go to 250,000 because that's what he does. It's content. He was the highest paying photographer or whatever at Apple. It's the truth. He has a lot of associations with Adam 22 No Jumper. It's the truth. He's not a helping channel. It's the truth. He said so himself. So let's not put any morality or anything like that on him because this, he doesn't fall for that. He's just giving content. That's all. Right? From placing the burden upon the individuals who happen to stumble across Lada's work, making it to the end of a video to access donation information, to the use of marginalized people's pain as a way to ensure the survival of two-parent households and a good role model, his explanations, videos mirror the same kind of erasure of the kind of system we are born unto and what effects it has upon us. His use of titles that box subjects beneath stereotypical and code words that automatically elicit implicit bias leave no room for any form of self definition. No matter how the interviewee persuades the audience, black and white mugshot like portraits of men, women, trans folks stuck in a moment of cathartic releases of despair are reduced to just that, humanized only through a lens that lacks the spaces for duality for whom we deemed worthy. YouTube comments pen from the gratefulness that comes from witnessing what could have been if born with darker skin or of a lower class bounce around the echo chamber built from access and internet using distance to excuse personal involvement because of the perceived risk. You know how many comments just go through the channel? Thank you for exposing this. Thank you, Mark, for exposing this. Because none of us knew. None of us knew that Skid Row existed. Thank you, Mark, for putting this shit out there. Thank you, Mark. Because none of us knew that homelessness, drug addiction, prostitution exists. Yo, I'm not making this shit up. You go to the channel and read those comments. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for exposing the truth, the soft white underbelly that none of us knew existed. Thank you. I don't know. Listen, I needed a YouTube channel to do that for me. All right. I do think it's important to hear people's unique story, but like not in this way. Thank you, Mark. I had no idea that Skid Row existed. No idea. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Who knew that poverty was a thing? Ah, shit. Who knew? Who knew? Right. The collective slumber we are under, bystanders to the world around us, are only broken when our sphere of influence is affected through degrees of social separation. What we artists and journalists tell ourselves is our contribution is made to get the story it deserves. Representation to allow the subject of a story and the agency and platform for actual understanding, not some pigeonholed tone deaf framework that allows for an arm's length look into the so called underbelly that keeps the greater society afloat. This underbelly Laita perpetuates isn't soft nor white, but disproportionately people of color who are hardened by life's cruel touch, gifted with resiliency to survive our capitalistic machine of society. Oppression does not make us less beautiful, less wise, or less valid in the eyes of privilege. And Lada's work does a masterful job at widening the lens that would otherwise only fit into a stereotypical bias and the exception to the rule. Yet the nature of the following one's journey through poverty and addiction without actionable change married to awareness is just a cynical wheel of predictive persecution, one that is commodified by gatekeepers of reform and monetized by the YouTube algorithm. Laita hides his uncut, uncensored footage behind a Patreon paywall, never truly divulging what kind of aid Amanda or any of his subjects received, selling potential redemption stories and current downfalls like housewares on Etsy. He asks his interviewees if they need help, goading them into his fleeting form of dependence upon Leda, as if their circumstances and position in life don't really already scream the, abolishment of systematic oppression and the inductions of universal health care and rehabilitation. What this does, it reinforces years of bigotry through commodified poverty porn as an outlet for privilege to feel as though their morality isn't wasted on just themselves, but for some greater good that they know won't come without their voice being attached to it. Some tough. It's some tough grit. I mean, I love it. And the article, by the way, is linked in the chat, or excuse me, in the description box. Let me take you right here. BJ did an excellent breakdown. That video is in there, and I had to watch this a couple times. I'm just gonna play a couple clips here.
19 would be the year that changed his life forever. On December 14th, 2019, Mark would publish an interview with a subject named Amanda Rabb. It would be the first of many interviews that would take place on the channel over the next couple of years, before Amanda would eventually unexpectedly die at just 25 years old. But for our timeline purposes on today's video, just know that Amanda Rabb's first interview, from as far as I can tell, was published to Soft White Underbelly on December 14th, 2019.
Pretty girl like you probably makes some nice money.
Pretty girl like you probably makes some nice money. Oh man, that's just, it's great. I like to hear a social worker. I like to hear somebody in the field say something like that, right? Like to a person. A pretty girl like you probably makes some nice money. Oh no, that's not giving me like pimp vibes. That's not giving me like perversion. That's not giving me like, damn. But he helps people, yo. He gets away with it because he helps people. There's no boundaries. He helped the family over there. I just heard in the chat there was a couple people that he helped. Great. He gets away with it. It's okay. It's all good. Everybody look away. It didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, then what do you charge for a date?
What do you charge per date? That's part of the interview process. Rest in peace, Amanda Rabb, right? But that's part of the interview process that you were going to ask a prostitute. What do you charge for a date? You know, Cynthia, in a workplace, that would be sexual harassment, right? Oh, but he paid. But he paid her $20, $40. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Look away. It's cool. Might as well have Mark do it. Somebody else is going to interview her, right?
Like $20 to $30.
As fate, or perhaps planning, would have it, just 10 days after Mark published Amanda's first interview, he would meet a woman named Kelly, who would end up igniting the first major scandal of many for Mark and Soft White Underbelly.
And there was X amount of dollars, which I think was around 9,000 or something like that.
No, it ended up being 28,000.
It wound up being 28,000. Yeah. And then there was some soothsayers sitting at home on their couches and their armchairs watching the interview and saying there are things here that don't add up. And then I believe it was the Washington Post got involved, and some others have written about this, that it was then questionable about your motivations.
According to an expose published by the Washington Post, Mark met Kelly through Kelly's then boyfriend on Christmas Eve in 2019. Mark had apparently interviewed this boyfriend twice before, but he hadn't published the interviews with the boyfriend. Kelly would later describe to reporters that Mark was known around Skid Row for talking to people and giving them money. Kelly said that then boyfriend told her it would be like a free therapy session that she would also get paid for. Kelly says she believed that talking to Mark was going to help her because she really needed to get out how she was feeling.
Wow. I mean, he's offering outlets, right? But he's not a helping channel, right? He doesn't help people, right? That's what he said. He is not a helping channel.
Well, poor Kelly laid out all of her past traumas in excruciating detail in this first interview. And I'm not even going to repeat what she said, but it was very sad and very dark. One thing I do feel compelled to mention is that Kelly accused her mother, in coordination with at least 2 of Kelly's foster fathers, of a certain type of abuse. The Washington Post would investigate into Kelly's mother's criminal record, and they did find that the mother was indeed charged and convicted with child abuse more than once. Once in 2002, which led to a 1-year prison sentence, and again in 2004, which led to a 6-year prison sentence, of which Kelly's mother would only actually serve 1 year. Now, this specific allegation was important to me to mention because another soft white underbelly subject around that exact time, Amanda Rabb, would accuse her own parent of exactly the same type of abuse on Soft White Underbelly. And Amanda would.
And we saw some of that. I think part of that, and this is a good question, is how can you not be, how can you be not helping channel, not be a helping channel when he volunteers to take people to treatment for pays for their hotels? Because being a helping channel means that you would have some level of responsibility to the people that you're helping, right? He can get away. He doesn't want to be a helping. He doesn't want to be known as a helping channel. That's the only way that I could really think of this, right? You don't want to be known as a helping channel because then you would be held to a certain standard for helping, right? For providing any promises, for doing anything. His own words, not mine.
How the Soft White Underbelly is creating empathy for those suffering homelessness.
So helping is not part of my channel. That's not what this channel, Soft White Underbelly, is all about.
Here it's a whole community of
I just wanted to say, I feel uncomfortable the guy videotaping right now.
I don't do, like, this is not a helping channel.
It's, if he is a helping channel, this is the only way I could really think of this. I'm in the helping field. If I'm in the helping field, I can get a license, right, to help. I can be held liable for helping people and hurting people while I'm helping them. He doesn't want to be known as a helping channel because then he is held liable to a certain degree. But who in their right mind, out of all these people that, don't have the resources, that are vulnerable, the soft white underbelly, as he likes to call him, is going to come back and try to sue him? Who? Because we're only seeing surface level, and a lot of us are concerned about what we see, right? We don't know what happens when the camera's not there. He gets in the mud with a lot of people. We don't know. There's an uncut, what is it, uncut version. Why is there an uncut version of this? This is not Girls Gone Wild, right? Like I would have, even then, because there's victims out of that too, right? If he calls himself a helping channel, he would be held liable in so many ways. But he doesn't want to say that. That's the only way I can logically think of how this would work. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense.
This channel is not about helping.
You need a YouTube channel to create empathy.
And there's a lot of articles out there about soft white underbelly, and I was just like, okay, interesting. How people are kind of like the way in which they're seeing Mr. Mark Laita. Everybody has a different opinion about him, right?
With an initial goal to raise $5,000 to help Kelly. Well, viewers kept giving to the fundraiser even after the $5,000 goal was met, and Kelly didn't even know about this fundraiser until it reached at least $9,000. Mark Laita's growing audience had raised more than $29,000 to help Kelly after seeing her video.
Christmas Eve, I was shooting down on Skid Row, and this gang member that I know brought his girlfriend, I guess, and said, you want to talk to this girl? And I'm like, I was driving away with my equipment. I was leaving for the day. And I'm like,
do you want to talk to this girl? God, is it just me? Does this sound off? Like the boyfriend pimps her out, sees Mark Laita, he sees a dollar sign. Do you want to interview this girl? Do you want to interview her? Sorry, you guys, I got a call. Boyfriend says, do you want to shoot her? Like, I kind of wonder how many boyfriends are setting each other up, like how all of this works.
see you later, I'm gone. He goes, no, you talk to this girl. I look at her, and she looks like she's 12 years old. I'm like, all right. So I pull over, And she tells me her story a little bit, just to give me a 30-second version. I'm like, okay, let me back up, and I'll set up again, and I'll shoot one more. And it turned out to be this really heartbreaking story. One of the most powerful on my channel, I would say. And I edited it that night, and I put it up on Christmas Day. I wasn't going to put anything on Christmas Day because my content is so dark. I just figured it wasn't appropriate. But her story was certainly dark, but it was kind of like, I don't know, beautiful at the same time. So I put it up on Christmas Day, the morning, and it initially got a really strong reaction. People were heartbroken over her story. And then she calls me back like 4 or 5 days later and says, can you take it down? My family's giving me a hard time. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I deleted her video, even though it was great. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, she calls me up and says, you know what? Forget my family. My family's never done anything for me. They've never been there for me. Put the video back up. Just use my street name. Because originally I posted the video with her real name, which is Kiera. Mm-hmm. And she said, use my street name, which is Kelly. So I put it up the second time with Kelly. And I got to know this girl by then. I saw that, she was working Figueroa Street, which is the street in Los Angeles where all the unbelievable amount of prostitution going on that street. So she has the arrest records. All the girls down there know her, so there's no doubt that she was a prostitute.
This Washington Post article is where I learned that the Soft White Underbelly channel only had like 3,000 subscribers at the time this original Kelly interview aired, but by February 2020, like 2 months later, after Kelly's first interview was published, Soft White Underbelly had acquired nearly 800,000 total subscribers on the channel. And remember, this was from 3,000 subscribers in December. Now we're 2 months later in February, and it's 800,000. So it would kind of seem like Kelly sort of single-handedly put Soft White Underbelly and Mark Laita on the map, setting him on the path to where he is now. In just a few weeks, that GoFundMe that Mark had set up for Kelly accrued nearly $30,000 in donations. Now this is where things start to get a bit confusing, but bear with me here. It looks like Mark had set up a variety of separate GoFundMes by that time.
Why did he do that? Why did he need so many GoFundMes?
Most of which seem to have been closed down today. So I can't find that exact $29,900 GoFundMe that Mark referenced. I mean, I think I found it. I think it eventually raised like $55,000 or something, $54,000. I don't know for sure if that's the same one. But I did find a fundraiser link on Kelly's follow-up interview from like October 2020, which would have been like 10 months after her first interview ever. So I clicked on that link. We'll put that one up here. For timeline purposes, that would have been posted 10 months after Kelly's first interview was published. Now that link leads to a now closed fundraiser organized by Mark Laita, which raised more than $51,000 before it was closed. The fundraiser description reads, donations to the Soft White Underbelly GoFundMe campaign help some of the people who appear on the Soft White Underbelly YouTube channel, as well as help support the channel.
But he's not a helping channel, right? It's not a helping channel. You don't help.
And that wasn't the only GoFundMe link that Mark had advertised around that same time. And it wouldn't be the last. Mark also linked a GoFundMe in the description box of Amanda's first interview, which had aired about a year earlier, December 14th, 2019. Now that link is still there today, but the fundraiser itself is similar to the other one we just looked at, also closed. But before that fundraiser stopped accepting donations, it had accrued more than $100,000. The last donations made appear to be from 2 years ago.
So when she told me I could put it back up, I said, this person deserves some help. I'm going to try this GoFundMe thing. I had heard about it, and I'm like, I'm going to try my first GoFundMe with this girl. So I posted her video with a link to the GoFundMe, and in 2 days it generated $28,000. 29, I think. GoFundMe.
All this money.
$29,000 in 2 days. It was actually $30,000. but what happened is, on that second time the video got uploaded, again, it got lots of views and lots of empathetic, compassionate, concerned commenters. As soon as the word got out that her GoFundMe was a wild success, then all of a sudden everything flipped. And all of these comments saying she was lying, it's all made up, it's all whatever. Here's a picture of her mom's Facebook with her and her mom. Here's a picture of her grandmother with her. And it's like, it's all a lie.
So like we already talked about, Mark met Kelly on Christmas Eve 2019, and by Christmas Day, he had published that first interview. Almost immediately, people start clamoring to help Kelly with money, clothes, food, and even places to stay. And it was Kelly's story and this outcry of public support that prompted Mark to start a GoFundMe for Kelly's education. So we discussed all that already. And even though that Kelly video was Mark's first major breakout video, he deleted it. For some reason, and your guess is as good as mine, Mark deleted that original Christmas Day publication of Kelly's interview and decided to re-upload it a month later on January 27th with Kelly's S-worker alias, Kelly. Now, a few days after that republication, on January 31st, about 1 month after the first interview with Kelly aired on literally Christmas Day, Kelly appeared for her first update on Soft White Underbelly, and this time Mark would appear by her side. So I know I've said a lot of dates, so let's just collect ourselves on this Kelly timeline. Kelly and Mark meet.
This is interesting. The problem is she's a child and can't consent to public interviews. So is Mark also like checking IDs while these children are consenting to interviews, or the boyfriends are consenting for them? Interesting.
Christmas Eve 2019. By Christmas Day 2019, Kelly's first interview would be published. That video would set Mark out on a huge spiral into fame and fortune. All these donations would be rolling in for the GoFundMe that Mark set up for Kelly, all that. Despite all the fanfare, Mark deletes the video. About a month later, January 27th, he re-uploads the video. And then he makes the first update. So it's a new video. This is not a re-upload, it's a new video. And in this video, Mark is actually on camera with Kelly, which I hadn't seen a lot of before. But to be fair, I don't really be watching that channel. Anyway, I was able to find that archive version of the update video on Wayback Machine. And they do mention in the description box that GoFundMe, and look, as you can see, it says her GoFundMe campaign was closed at $29.9 thousand. Then it says, she was photographed on January 29th. All right, January 2020, Aldona Laita does pass away in Chicago. February 27th, the Washington Post publishes that story I told y'all about Kelly being a scammer or whatever.
How old was Kelly? Some of you guys are saying that she was a child. Was it Planet Luna? Thank you, Planet Luna. She was a child. And thank you. Come get this commentary. Kiva says, I won't be fake. Is the content. I would agree. It's like some of those that I watch is very intriguing, but there have been parts where I'm just like, this is not artistry anymore. This is something else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad BJ has been on shining all of that. But some stuff is like, this is exploitative to a certain degree. That's what I thought too, Rebecca, is that she was so the boyfriend consented for Kelly, right? Because Kelly was a child at the time. Am I hearing that correctly?
Ever. So basically, the long and short of this Washington Post expose is this. After Kelly's interview aired, in addition to the support she received, she also apparently had received some backlash. YouTubers and internet sleuths began to poke holes in her story and began to find a lot of inconsistencies in what she had said to Mark. Primarily, people figured out that Kelly was not her birth name, and they began to make attempts to contact Kelly's family, including her mother, who Kelly had accused of that type of abuse during her first interview. Now, the Washington Post expose I referenced previously was actually a response to the public criticism of Kelly, and they were investigating allegations that she was supposedly scamming Mark Laita. In this expose article, though, it says that Kelly didn't even know about the fundraiser until after it already had raised more than $9,000, so it's hard to know how she could have been possibly scamming Mark if he did all of that without her knowledge.
Well, and if she didn't have access to the money, how is she scamming?
Anyway, later that year, October 10th, like I said earlier, Kelly would come back. She would return October 2020, less than a year after her first interview aired, back on Christmas 2019. And this indicates to me that Mark didn't feel so scammed by the whole thing as would have been maybe indicated by the internet sleuths at the time. Anyway, speaking of fundraisers though, let's fast forward to January 7th, 2021, when Mark Laita apparently makes the first ever post on the official Soft White Underbelly Instagram account. The post featured another Soft White Underbelly fan favorite, Amanda Rab, and it encouraged Mark's followers to donate to a treatment program that Mark helped Amanda to get into.
Fill in the blank. Which treatment program is that?
Fortunately, just 4 short months later, Amanda lost her life in a Nevada treatment center that the fundraiser Mark advertised had helped to pay for. That fundraiser had raised nearly $40,000 before it was closed down. On August 24th.
Interesting. Anyways, I know that this damn internet, or I don't know if it was, I think it was StreamYard, and I was like, am I being reported? Am I being reported? Anyways, it stopped a couple times. I don't know why, but I definitely wanted to just bring some of the stuff up that was being provided to me. I put in a lot of links in the description box so you guys can read the article by Lando Chill. Check it out. I just feel like, listen, y'all can support whoever you want to. I'm not trying to convince anybody to not support. You support whoever you want. Truly, support whoever you want. But I think it's important to also call out some of the ish that's not really making sense, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're here. And of course, like I said, let me see. Hold up. Hold up. Where's that comment? There, here. I hope all your monetization is turned off. Well, it wasn't, because I'm allowed to monetize my channel. All right. That's what I do here. But shout out to the person that messaged me that or commented that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments as we're reviewing this. I wanted to bring some light to this and just thoughts overall. Do y'all think that this is wrong? Do you guys think that, what, Mark is doing the things that nobody else is doing, bringing some awareness because nobody knows that there's homelessness out there? Nobody. This is weird, right? Nobody knows. It's like one of those things that nobody talk. Well, maybe people don't talk about homelessness and poverty and stuff like that, but it's out there. I don't think a YouTube channel needs to be the one, to spearhead you through all of that. It's out there. It's out there. Just my opinion. Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit a bunch of this video because it kept stopping and going, and apparently we had a lot of issues. Sounds like it was StreamYard. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Full on taking advantage. Well, that's my thought. That's my thought, and I will not be treading lightly because I don't do that. I don't do that. Sorry, I don't do that. Thank you guys. I'm gonna head out because I gotta go tend to baby bunny. But let me know your thoughts in the comments about this. And then that article that I just read, very great article by Lando Chill. It's in the description box. Check it out. To me, that article was eye-opening because it just put into perspective a lot of the things that I think I wanted to say but really couldn't, and he said them perfectly. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out.